Mr. President, I asked if in legislative session, unanimous consent, the Senate proceed to calendar number 194S357, the National Blue Alert Act, that the bill be read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
President.
Senator from Oklahoma.
Per the Senate rules, I've submitted a whole letter outlining my reasons for objecting to this besides it not being paid for, and I object.
Objection is heard.
Mr. President.
Senator from Vermont.
President, I commend the senator from Maryland, who just as he did when he was in the state legislature and has done every single day since he's been in the U.S. Senate, he has been supportive of law enforcement and police officers, and I commend him for it. I'm sorry there was an objection. I spoke earlier to the senator from Maryland, and I think I said Delaware before I meant Maryland, of course, my dear friend, Senator Ben Cardin. I told him earlier that I'd had a hearing on the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Program. The distinguished presiding officer, the senator from Delaware, was there, as were officers from Delaware. And during that hearing, we heard from Officer Ann Carrizales of the Stafford, Texas Police Department. This was some of the most powerful testimony I've heard in my years, almost 40 years in that committee. She was shot in the face and the chest during a routine traffic stop last year. She was saved by her protective vest. She returned fire, and then she pursued the suspects for 20 miles and ultimately helped a neighboring police jurisdiction apprehend the shooter. Determined police officer, former Marine, mother, wife. I have one of the letters that I have is from her daughter, Michaela, talking about what her mother faced. This was powerful testimony. We also heard from a police chief. Tomorrow, some of us will be staying with law enforcement during National Police Week here on the west front of the Capitol. And we'll talk about the National Blue Alert Act, which is so needed. We'll talk about this bill, which Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell, who had served in law enforcement, a Republican from Colorado, and I first introduced. For decades, it's been passed unanimously. It saves lives. It's not a luxury item. First, I'd ask consent that my whole statement be placed in the record.
Without objection.
And I ask, as if in legislative session, unanimous consent, the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 162S933, the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Program Reauthorization Act. The bill be read a third time and passed. And the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
To object.
Senator from Oklahoma.
We went through this 10 days ago, and I gave a very long and detailed explanation to my objections to this bill. I won't belabor that again. But again, we're at the process where we owe $17 trillion, and we're spending money that we don't have in areas that are far lower in priority than this issue. Have no objection. Think that this actually has, in terms of bulletproof vests, a great way to protect those that protect us. But again, as I stated the last time that we had this discussion, under the enumerated powers, this is a responsibility of the states and the local communities, and on that basis, I object.
The objection is heard.
Mr. President, I'm sorry for that because we'll waste more money in 2 weeks in Afghanistan and Iraq, or maybe a week, than this would cost for years to protect Americans, American law enforcement. Police officers who protect us every day. We'll allow this matter to come to a vote have everybody vote yes or no. I tell you, the senator from Vermont would vote yes. I know the senator from Maryland would vote yes, and I know the distinguished presiding officer from Delaware would vote yes, as every single Democratic senator would, and I believe a number of Republican senators would. We'll give great speeches this week saying we stand with law enforcement. Well, as some would say, put up or shut up. Let's stand with them. Let's pass this legislation. President, I suggest the absent quorum.